Alright, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome in. This is BabyNation.com back here with another video, and today we're going to do a live reaction video. Since the second round is officially over and I am pre-recorded by the time that OKC and Denver just got playing. We're going to react to everything here. We're going to react to the entire second round, and then we'll go ahead and get the conference finals pick show up for tomorrow. So if you guys aren't already, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. Make sure you join the Discord. Links in the description. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitch at Malin27 so you guys don't miss any future streams. All that will be in it'll be in the link in the description. I also do have a new red box that says subscribe. If you guys want to subscribe on there, I really for me, I would really appreciate it if you guys did. Make sure you guys do so. That's the easiest way that you guys can now subscribe to the channel. So make sure you guys please do so. We really do appreciate your support and love. So there you go, you guys have it. So that's where the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference finals will start. Obviously today is May 18th. I'm recording this. It is May 20 through 21st, and that means we'll have our reaction today. I'll get this posted out soon as I'm done with this, and then we'll get into our pick show for tomorrow. I'm gonna pre-record that tonight as well, and it get out to you guys by tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you guys stay tuned for those. Like I said, we do appreciate everybody for playing in the pick show, or if you guys are just in here in general, we really do appreciate everything, of course. But so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the reactions. Alright, so first things first, we have one of the most shocking series that I think I would ever see in my life, and that is the Cavs getting beat in 5 games by the Indiana Pacers. Yeah, this was shocking. I did not think this was going to happen. Obviously, I thought Indiana completely outworked the Cavs from start to finish. And man, this was just this was just a brutal series for Cleveland. Alright, so game 1 just kind of realistically just set the tone. Indiana won game 1, 121-112. That game was pretty close throughout, but Indiana really took advantage of that. Game 2 was very close, and I'm surprised Cleveland lost this game, because I think Cleveland had like a 15-16 point lead in that game, and then they choked and actually lost that game. Like, all you need to do, and Cleveland made some stupid ass mistakes during this series. Like, they would just turn over, like in clutch game situations, they would just turn over the basketball and they would just won't get out in transition. Like, I don't know what Cleveland was doing throughout this series. And then in game 3, we saw Cavs complete blowout in Indiana. See, this is when the Cavs blew out Indiana in game 3. This is when I thought the turnaround for the Cavs was going to start. I thought this was going to be like the bounce back of for Cleveland itself. And in game 4 was the exact opposite that I thought. And once the Cavs lost game 4, I knew it was over in game 5. But anyway, for the Cavs, like I said, this got to be disappointing, man. This got to be one of the most disappointing ways to go out, and I can't credit Donovan Mitchell as we look at the stat line here. You can't credit Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, he was absolutely spectacular throughout this series. And matter of fact, he's going to be my MVP of the series. I thought he was that fucking good. I mean, just look at his percentages. He shot 42% from 3. What do you have? He averaged 34.2%. 34.2 points per game. Like Donovan Mitchell, he was absolutely fantastic. So if you want to blame this on Donovan Mitchell, he's the only guy that you cannot blame for. And I know the Cavs has some injuries as well. I know Evan Mobley, Darius Garland only played 3 games in the series. Dylan Jansen only played 1 game. DeAndre Hunter only played 4 games and he missed a game. So I know the Cavs have some guys out, but still, if you're a 1 seed, you gotta take care of business, man. And what's even more disappointing about this is that the Cleveland Cavaliers had 3 out of the 5 games at home. They did not win either one of them. They didn't win either one of them, and that is pretty disappointing to see as a 1 seed. But Evan Mobley, in his 4 games, he did not really have that bad of a series. I mean, he had average 18. I mean, okay, that's okay. Darius Garland had 14. I was kind of expecting a little bit more from him. I thought he was going to get like 19, 18, something like that, but I guess he was just fine. Same thing with Jared Allen. I mean, 12 points. I thought he was going to average like something like 15 or 16 throughout the series. And same thing with DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, average 9. I was kind of expecting like a 13 or 14 from him. But all I'm saying is here that Cleveland, I'm pretty sure if you guys participated in the ESPN bracket challenge for basketball, I'm pretty sure a lot of your brackets are busted by the second round, because man, these playoffs are just weird. You know, look at the Pacers. I mean, the Pacers didn't really have anybody special. You know what I mean? Like if you look at Cleveland had like just a very few amount of guys in double figures. If you look at Indiana, they almost had like their starter, like their entire rhythm in double figures, and that's crazy. Meanwhile, Pascal Siakam was great. I thought Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, he was a little bit inconsistent, but when he needed the team to step up, he did. I thought Miles Turner was a big impact defensively and offensively, like what we saw from Aaron Smith, Andrew Newhart. Like I like what I saw from all these guys. And Brent Martin, I thought he was fantastic too. So yeah, give credit to the Indiana Pacers, man. Like I said, they're one of the funnest offenses to watch in all the basketball, and right now they're proving it, man. I mean, Indiana, their offense is just scoring points like it's nothing throughout this series. But anyway, enough talking here. But about this series, we got to move on. But this was honestly, like I said, this was obviously one of the most shocking series that I could ever predict to happen. And for Cleveland, I don't know what you do this offseason, man. That was definitely very disappointing. If I'm Cleveland, I might just say, you know what, just run it back with the same core, because you guys do have a good team, and maybe you can just build this off an experience. But for Indiana, congratulations to you, and good luck in the conference finals against New York, because that should be a great series. And speaking of New York, we finally got a defending champion dethroned that I actually like. We have this Knicks upsetting and beating the Celtics in 6 games. Let's fucking go. Alright, so in the first place, I love this series from start to finish. I knew this was going to be a good series. I did not expect the Knicks to win it, but I'm glad they did win it, because you guys know me, and you know, you guys know how much I hate the Celtics. So let's take a look at game 1 here. The Knicks did an absolutely fantastic job of just setting the tone in this series. I mean, their defense was absolutely phenomenal throughout this series. Maybe except for game 5, because game 5 they punched them in the mouth a little bit. But besides that, if you look at the Knicks defense and what the Boston scored, like, you're fine giving up these numbers. But anyway, back to the series here in New York. Once they led 2-0, I thought Boston was fucked, because I thought no way they were going to go into Madison Square Garden and win both of those games after they just lost 2 of them at home. You know, if you're the home team in the series, you gotta protect your home court. Kind of like what I said about Cleveland. You know, Boston, you had 3 of the 6 games at home. You only won 1 of them. Like you were 1 for 3 at home during this series. Like that can't happen. But anyway, game 2 happened after that, and the Celtics took care of business there. Now I thought, like I said with Cleveland Cavaliers series, I thought this was the comeback of the Celtics. No, it just didn't happen. Game 4, and then unfortunately, Jason Tatum got hurt. Like I said before, I don't know if you guys heard me during the streams, but I said, sure, I hate the Celtics, but I like the Celtics players. I support them. Jason Tatum is one of the players I very support on the Celtics. So the fact that he got banged up, that was just unfortunate. That was kind of sad to see. So I pray on his recovery, and I hope he comes back on the basketball floor soon, because you know the NBA is gonna miss him. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this series just in general. We'll take a look at the Celtics here. Jason Tatum was obviously phenomenal before he got injured. And it's unfortunate that he got injured, but you know what? It is what it is. But Jason Tatum, he had a fantastic series. Jaylen Brown, I thought he played all right, especially with Jason Tatum out. He kind of took the charge by himself, and I thought he was actually spectacular when he did that. Derek White was huge about this whole series. I mean, his shooting was red hot throughout this series, both in the 40%. Peyton Pritchard was absolutely fantastic during this series too, like we saw in him. Drew Holiday's defense was a major factor in this series. Chris Porzingis, and I know he couldn't really play a lot. I think he had some personal issues, but I guess he was fine. But anyway, I mean, for defending champion, and you guys know the history between defending champions and not getting out of the second round. Yes, this repeats itself. No defending champion has got out of this at least past the second round since 2019, since the Raptors won it. And that is crazy, and I guess that history does continue to be on a streak here. Meanwhile, for the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, oh my god, this guy is just a fucking dude, man. This guy is fucking amazing. 26 point per game in this series. Karl-Anthony Towns was huge as well. Basically scored 20 points per game in this series. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns, he was absolutely fantastic. I know he wasn't as good as Jalen Brunson, but still, he came up from when he needed to, and he had a fantastic game six. Mikal Bridges, he was just a 3D player. He was a great 3D player to this team. He was great defensively. He was great offensively. Same thing with Josh Hart. He was great too. And you can say the same thing about OG Anunoby as well. But besides that, the Knicks didn't really do anything as a team, but hey, listen, if the Celtics get eliminated, I love it. Okay, you guys know that. I love it. But at the same time, the Knicks move on to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2000, I think. And as you can look at this is pretty damn close throughout the series combined. But I'm glad that the Knicks won. Knicks, congratulations to you. I'm happy for you. And hopefully that you'll do well in Eastern Conference Finals versus Indiana. But like I said, we'll get to see who everybody picks in our pick show coming up tomorrow, because we have a lot of great, interesting picks that we need to get to there. I'm going to go over here first, kind of more things to say about the Nuggets versus OKC series. But anyway, throughout this series, we have the Timberwolves beating the Warriors in 5 games, and I was kind of shocked. I'm surprised. I'm shocked that this series is going to go to at least 6 or 7. But you know what? Like I said, it is what it is. But game 1 was actually won by Golden State. I mean, they won this game pretty in dominant fashion, and especially on the defensive team. Like, even though majority of these box scores, both teams' defenses were absolutely fantastic. Like, games 1, no team scored 100 points. It was 99 to 98. That means both teams played good defenses. Just the Warriors had more. And in game 2, Minnesota, you cannot lose 2 straight games at home. They responded pretty well in game 2. Ended up taking both games in Golden State, which was honestly kind of surprising, but at the same time, kind of not, because Steph Curry got injured in game 2, I believe, and he couldn't really come back, and that's kind of what set the tone of the series. And then Minnesota closed it out on their home floor. So just looking at this series in general, like I said, the Ant-Man is the Ant-Man himself. And if we're looking at this, I'm surprised that Golden State out rebounded Minnesota, because knowing the size advantage of the series, I thought that Minnesota would definitely win that battle. But you know what? It's kind of crazy. So like I said, speaking of Anthony Edwards, he's just every single time I think about Anthony Edwards in the playoffs, I think about that guy that you just don't want to play him. You just want to fear him. And so far throughout these playoffs, he's been absolutely fantastic. He beat the shit out of my Lakers in the first round. He beat the shit out of the Warriors here in the second round. And I thought Julius Randle, speaking of playoff performer, Julius Randle, he's normally been like not a really good playoff performer. He's been absolutely fantastic in this series, and I don't know why, but that's who he is. He's been great throughout the playoffs. And Jaden McDaniels was great too. Naz Reid was great too. Rudy Gobert had some good rebounding games, and we saw a lot of good defensive moments out of him in this series. There was just a complete series here about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I thought they played well from start to finish. Looking at the Golden State Warriors here, Jonathan Kuminga actually led the team in scoring for the series, averaging 21 a game. I mean, he did have his punches. He did have really good moments throughout this series, so I'll give a lot of credit from them. Jimmy Butler, he was great, but I thought he was going to do it a little bit better. I thought he was going to turn, once Stephen Curry was out, I thought he was going to turn into Jimmy Butler like we saw from the Miami Heat. And he was kind of like that, but he wasn't on the same level. You can tell there's a different level comparison between where he was in Miami and where he is now in Golden State. And then Buddy Hield, I thought he was terrific too. I mean, his shooting came when he needed him to. Steph Curry, like I said, unfortunately, he only played 1 game throughout this series. Okay, so maybe he did get injured in game 1, but yeah, he only played 1 game throughout this series. And if you're a Warriors fan, you can say maybe things might look a little bit differently if Steph Curry was healthy the whole time, and I definitely do agree with you, even when I say that, But Stephen Curry, I thought he was fantastic in game 1, and then besides that, he couldn't do anything since. Brendan Vujicic was pretty good throughout this series, to be honest. He had a big impact. Draymond Green had some really good defensive moments throughout the series. But it's just unfortunate for the Warriors, and I do think this got to be mentioned in NBA playoffs when we come down to injuries, that you should have at least 2 nights off. And we'll go ahead and get that to the next series, Denver versus Oklahoma City, because I'm basically going to be saying the same thing. But I think that needs to be 1 day off, 1 day practice and recovery, 1 day travel, and then you play. I don't think you should have to play every day, game, break, travel, game. And then you have your break and travel the same day. I just don't like that format. I do think they should change it because the NBA playoffs really comes down to like which team is more healthier, and that's what Minnesota was, and that's kind of why the reason why they won this series. But anyway, Minnesota, congratulations to you. Hopefully, you guys do good in the Western Conference Finals. I will be rooting for you against OKC, so hopefully you can get it done. But for now, like I said, congratulations and good luck to you. And for the Warriors, you got nothing to panic for because you're basically going to keep the same court, right? Alright, and then our last series of the second round was unfortunate, but we had the Denver Nuggets barely falling short to the Oklahoma City Thunder, winning in 7 games. So this series was fantastic. Okay, it was fantastic. This series was everything I wanted to watch. But both teams went back and forth. Both teams took series leads. Both teams tied it up. This series was exactly what you would think it would be. But anyway, Denver won game 1, 121 to 119, and this game was very dramatic because it was close throughout, and then Aaron Gordon hit that 3 at the buzzer, and that was critical for Denver. Game 2, OKC responded. I mean, this was an ass beating. You talking about responding? Oh yeah, you talking about responding? You talking about like a 45-point ass whooping for a response? Absolutely. Game 3, Denver went back on their home court and won 113 and 104. Once again, that was a really good game, but Denver's execution was great throughout that game. Game 4 was a defensive battle, but OKC ended up winning that, and I was kind of shocked that game went that way, especially how it started because it was what was like both teams scored like a 50s in the first half, and then both teams really did nothing in the offensive end in the second half. And then game 5, OKC ended up taking that game as well, 112 to 105. Like I said, that was a good game, but OKC just out-executed Denver down the stretch. Game 6, Denver won 119 to 107. Like I said, that was a great game, but like I said, Denver just had to lead the whole game and just kept it the whole game. And then game 7 was a complete ass beating, which was pretty disappointing because I thought we were gonna see a pretty good game, and I just got done being live in this game. But yeah, I ended that live pretty early because just the ass beating that we were just watching there. But anyway, this series, like I said, it was just everything that you wanted to see. Every all stars showed up. Both teams were great. Let's see, SGA 29. Basically 30 averaging in this series. He was, he's being Shea, he's himself, and I hate to say this, but I think the MVP award is literally going to go to whoever won this series, and that was Shea. So I think he might be the favorite to win MVP now, but who knows? Jalen Williams, he had his he had his in and outs throughout this series. He was great a couple games. He was kind of inconsistent some other games, but let me tell you, in Game 7, he stepped up when he needed to. Chet Holmgren, I mean, he was fine, not the best, not the worst, but he was okay. Isaiah Hartenstein was great defensively. Same thing with Alex Caruso. Love what we saw from them too defensively. Louis Dort, you can say the same thing. Maybe not the scoring punch that you needed to see out of him, but at least he played well. Aaron Wiggins, I thought he had a crucial Game 7, and I just like what we saw from this Oklahoma City team, man. They're deep, they're young, they're healthy. I mean, this OKC team is very, very fucking talented. Alright, meanwhile, for Denver here, Nikola Jokic, he was the man of the show, 28 points per game this series. I thought he was fantastic. Jamal Murray, 21 points per game this series. I like what we saw in him. Maybe he did have some up and down moments too throughout this series, but overall, I thought he played pretty well. But it's just unfortunate that they just couldn't get the job done. Aaron Gordon was a fucking hero throughout this series. I love what we saw from Aaron Gordon. He was absolutely fantastic. You can tell his 3-point shooting is definitely an increase. He shot 44% from 3 throughout this series. And throughout the playoffs, I thought Aaron Gordon was just like a playoff hero for Denver. He played really great. You can say the same thing about Russell Westbrook, averaging 10 in the series. I thought he was fantastic. Maybe not scoring wise, but his effort, his competitiveness, I thought he was pretty well there. Christian Brown very stepped up his shooting throughout this series. I thought he played pretty well. Now you could blame a little bit on Michael Porter Jr. You could complain a little bit about him. I don't think he played really as well as you probably would expect during now this series. But I do want to give one mention to Julian Strawther. Like I said, I know he only scored 5 points, but he did have a very crucial Game 6. So I gotta award him. So I haven't given a lot of a mention about that. But anyway, like I said, OKC, like I said, they played really well throughout this series. I thought both teams played really well. I thought both teams gave each other boxing matches, and as I was watching this series, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It was a popcorn movie show, but at the same time, I was kind of fortunate because I was kind of ready for Denver to win this series, and it turns out that OKC ended up winning. So, like I said, congratulations to OKC. You guys versus the Wolves in the Western Conference Finals should be a pretty interesting showing, and for Denver going to the offseason, I mean, I don't want to say it, but I do think that there is a slight chance you do break your core. And I don't want to say that because you guys do have a very good core. You guys have a championship level core. So yeah, but like I said, give credit to Denver for forcing 7 on the 1 seed. I thought that was impressive by itself, especially how dominant OKC has been this year. So give Denver a lot of credit. I don't think anybody will ever do this in the playoffs, but at the same time, you gotta give credit where it's due. So congratulations to OKC and good luck in the West Finals. Alright guys, and that's going to do it for tonight's live reaction. I will be live probably in a little bit, or I might be live a little bit later, so make sure you guys can join for those. But anyway, make sure you guys come join us tomorrow for a pick show, Knicks versus Pacers, Thunder versus Timberwolves. So make sure you guys come out, see who we got. Doom series is going to start on Tuesday, I believe, so I got to get the video about on Monday. Like I said, I do plan to get it on Monday afternoon. So make sure you guys tune in for that. But like I said, I'm gonna hop out of here, get this thing edited so you guys can watch in no time. But appreciate everybody's support. Hopefully you guys enjoy the NBA playoffs so far, because there's more, because they're coming down the stretch now, conference finals and finals. This is the big deal now, because now we get to look at, you know what, whatever, I'm just gonna explain all about that tomorrow. But anyway, I do appreciate your support. Like I said, I'm gonna hop out, get this again so you guys watch in no time. This is BabyNation.com. Peace out, stay safe, see you guys next time. Peace out.